Hey, and welcome back to the Business of Healthcare podcast. I'm your host, Tara Humphrey, and this is our first episode of 2026. Now, if you are finding this podcast for the very first time, you are joining us at episode 359, which is absolutely incredible. And this year, we are starting off the podcast slightly differently to what we would usually do. And this podcast has been created for those of you out there that may not be excited for 2026. Now, this is the time of the year where people are excited to think about new goals and think about productivity, or maybe start on a new fitness journey and just try to be better. But there will be a lot of people that have had a difficult time in 2025 for a variety of reasons. You may have lost somebody important in your life, like myself. You may have lost your job. You may have lost your home. You may be experiencing a significant health challenge, either you or somebody that you love. It just might be really challenging for a variety of reasons. And seeing all the New Year, New Me content may not resonate with you. It certainly doesn't resonate with me. So I thought, Tara, why don't you create an episode to speak to the thing that you are looking for? And I was unsure about whether to put it on this podcast because I talk about the business of healthcare, and I talk about the business of healthcare from the perspective of a healthcare consultant who has been running their business for coming up to 11 years in March 2026. And I started this podcast to talk to everyday health and care leaders about work, essentially. Whereas this podcast is not about work. So if that's what you're looking for, this is not the podcast episode for you. But I did think one of our ambitions for the podcast is everybody with an NHS email to listen to just one episode. And given how many people work in the NHS or for the NHS or support the NHS, I did think, actually, I think that there will be people in my audience that would hopefully find some value in this episode. So it's a little bit different to what we'd usually cover. But I felt compelled to record it. For those of you listening on YouTube, one of our goals is to be more present on YouTube. So we're kind of starting here, starting episode. So we're starting the podcast episode on, we have done a little bit on YouTube, but we haven't been consistent, but I am going to try to do that this year. So that is why you are finding us on YouTube on episode 359. And just a little bit more background for those of you that will not know who I am. I run a consultancy called THC Primary Care. I mentioned we've been going for nearly 11 years now at the time of recording. We provide interim leadership and management to primary care networks and primary care organisations. I've got this podcast, The Business of Healthcare, and I also have a blog where we talk about the business of primary care networks. So my focus day to day is very much general practice primary care, but I am interested in healthcare as a whole. I find it absolutely fascinating. So for those of you that do not want to go into 2026 with new year, new me energy, and you just kind of want to keep things steady or maybe scale back a bit, you're just feeling just hurt and sad and bruised and not excited for 2026, I hear you. And there may be something in this episode which resonates with you that could be helpful. The first section of this podcast is around organising your energy. So in the past, I have really valued being productive and trying to get as much into my day as possible. And I would say that I've been pretty good. But where I am now and where I have been is that sometimes I find myself getting quite overwhelmed by the things that I did before and feeling like I've got so much to do and I don't know where to start. And then that's causing me anxiety. So I came across, there's an entrepreneur called Grace Beverly, and she's like productivity queen. She's running 5 businesses, and she's got this productivity planner. And I remember in the past I bought one, and it was just too overwhelming, even at my, like, when I felt on it, and it's just sitting in my house. But she came out with an 8-minute daily planner, and it's brilliant. It's really small, and it just invites you to, so each day, the attitude or mindset you want to embody is, a habit I will stick to today is, one distraction I will consciously avoid today is, and then she's got your quick tick tasks, that's less than 5 minutes, your tasks, which are 5 to 30 minutes, and then your projects, which are 30 minutes plus. And then she's got 3 non-negotiables. She invites you to think about what your 3 non-negotiable um, things are for the day, and then a section for you to time block your diary and make some notes. And honestly, it's been a game changer. I feel like it's made me more productive than I was before, which was not the intention. The intention was, how can I just get through the day, managing the energy that I have, and still being able to show up for work, essentially. But her 8-minute daily planning method has been really helpful. So for those of you on YouTube, I'm just showing you the layout and the cover, because it's just like cardboard. It's quite a thin planner. It got dirty really quickly, so I just bought like a leather cover to make it look a bit posh. But that planner, 8-minute daily planner, has been really, really helpful. So yeah, if you're going through something challenging, you're feeling overwhelmed, you just strip it back. What are the most important things you need to do today? Think about how much time it's going to take you. Think about how much time you've got in the day. They're all general productivity tips, but I think when you're carrying a lot, it, sometimes you just need somebody to like hold your hand and be like, right, what do you have to do today? How much time do you have? How much energy do you feel that you can, how much energy are you managing? What is that energy? Is it positive? Is it sadness? Is it negativity? And organize your day accordingly. So Grace Beverly's 8-minute daily planner has been really, really helpful. You don't need a planner, you can probably just do it on a piece of paper, but just stripping back and focusing on what are the most important things you need to do given the context you are operating in. The next thing I wanted to cover was moving your body and exercise. Now, in the past, I think in 2024, I did 4 ultra marathons in a month. So exercise, I used to exercise for performance and really valued, I'm not a fast runner, but the mileage was important to me. Now I'm I am not in that energy at all whatsoever. And now I just exercise for my mindset, to just help quiet my mind. I still run, but I don't run with my sports watch anymore. I just run because it makes me feel better afterwards. I also am really into reformer Pilates. I'm really lucky that I've got a gym. When I say like it's next door, it's like 30 seconds next door. Walk out my office and walk to the gym, and they've got 2 reformer machines there, and you can do it. It's a bit like you need earphones and you just follow along. You've got an instructor. I absolutely love it. So running, doing reformer Pilates. I'm really lucky to live in a beautiful part, and I've got woods on my doorstep. I'm just going out for a walk. I'm really lucky I've got a Peloton bike at home. So I do exercise is really, really important for my mindset, my well-being now more than ever before. And on the days where I don't feel like exercising, and I don't feel like exercising every day, I'm now kind to myself. And in the past, people would say to me, just in general, like, be kind to yourself. I don't know why, but I used to find that like offensive. I don't know. Like, I used to think, why are you telling me that? Like, I don't want an excuse to be like, if I'm kind to myself, I wouldn't do anything. I'd just sit around eating chocolate all day. Whereas now that's a different meaning. And on the days where I do not want to exercise, I don't feel like I've got the energy, I am kind to myself. And if I don't want to, I don't push it. I will try to go for a walk. Sometimes just go for a walk around the block. You will feel better. Just get some fresh air. But I am kind to myself. Like, it's not about the time. Do not ask me. I never would share my time anyway. It's just I exercise for me, 100% for me. Everything I'm saying is not like you need a new productivity planner, you need to exercise. These are just things that are helping me. They may help you, or you might find other outlets to help you. But exercise is a big part of my life now for my own mental well-being. Now, I'm really fortunate to be working with a psychotherapist. I might do a podcast actually on the things I've learned from my psychotherapist. It's been absolutely amazing. It's been an amazing experience, and one I didn't know that I needed. And one of the things we talked about was the kind of permission to build or put a wall around myself and my emotions at this time. And he helped me kind of look at this like like using an analogy, and said, and I think the context of the conversation was people are being really kind and reaching out and sharing their thoughts with me. And sometimes it can be very overwhelming, or sometimes it can be quite upsetting. That's not their intention whatsoever. It's just the place where I'm in. And he said, think of it a bit like spam email. You might get loads of spam emails daily, weekly, and you've already made a decision, a split-second decision on whether you're going to read it, you're just going to delete it, or you might unsubscribe, but you don't let it kind of get into your inner circle. You don't let that behind your wall. You've got a wall up, and you can treat people's messages like that. He said to me, and this has been a game changer. He said to me, people's need to share is not your need to respond. So people's need to share something with you. So me sharing this podcast with you, you do not have to respond to it. You can delete it. If something I have said to you, has triggered you negatively, you can just go, I don't want to listen to Tara anymore. I just delete. I'm not going to let her into my psyche, into my mindset, into my world. I don't want that. And you just delete me. You do not have to respond. So you can build that wall to protect your energy, your emotions, your mindset. If you're feeling sensitive or fragile, or you need some space, you take it. I am taking it. I came off of LinkedIn for a bit. I deleted my WhatsApp. I just needed space. And it's allowed me to kind of go, just take like a bit of a breath. I feel a bit of a weight has lifted. And now coming back after work after a break over Christmas, and it's like I need to like step into the real world again. But that wall and boundaries, I've got new boundaries now to protect my well-being, and I will not compromise. So if you need to build a bit of a wall, you do that. And I think one of the things people have said to me is, don't barricade yourself in behind the wall, but if you need to take some extra care, you do that. You absolutely do that. So that's been really helpful for me. So when people message me, I get to choose. And if if that message catches me on the wrong day at the wrong time, I can just either, reply with a heart or a thumbs up, or I can just kind of think, thank you, delete, or I don't want to hear that today, delete it. The person that sent me the message, that person has done nothing wrong whatsoever. This is about protecting my peace, my mindset. So yeah, working with a therapist, that's something that I'm really finding helpful, an outlet to help make sense of my thoughts, with somebody like a trained professional, not just like my mate, has been really, 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 really good. Another thing that I'm finding really helpful is like a consistent meditation practice. So I've always been a meditator, but again, it means something so much deeper now. I use a Headspace app. I've used 10% Happier, Peloton. I've got meditations on there. Sometimes I don't, I can just close my eyes or just go for a walk. But definitely doing it before bed has been really, really helpful as well. So, or sometimes if it's like in the middle of a work day and I might feel myself getting a bit anxious, it's like I just take a breath. I might just go out for a walk around like the block, come back, and that's been really helpful. Another tool I've got is the 6-minute diary. Now, a guy called Adam reached out to me on LinkedIn and has been amazing, has been an angel sent to me, and he recommended it's like a gratitude journal called the 6-minute diary. And on it, it's just a daily page. It invites you to think of 3 things I'm grateful for, invites me to think about how this is how I'll make the day great, is a positive affirmation, my good deed for the day, what I learned today, and things I've experienced today. So I'd do the first part in the morning and then the second part in the evening. Now, on a good day, sometimes I might use 2 pages. I might cover 2 pages in a day. On a not so good day, I really struggle to think about, I can always think of 3 things to be grateful for, but sometimes I struggle on how I'm going to make this a good day. And sometimes I will drink my Simproof first in the morning. It's like a Simproof like gut like probiotic. Sometimes I forget to take it in the morning. Sometimes that's it. I cannot think of anything I can do to make this day a good day. Other days, it's like I'm going to exercise, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to speak to my friend, I'm going to write a blog, I'm going to do this. I can think of lots of things. And other days, it's like nothing. And that's okay. It's your journal, it's your thoughts, it's your emotions. But doing that, and I've been doing that every day since the 25th of November. And yeah, it's just been really, really helpful to think there are things to be positive and grateful for, even during challenging times. Which also brings me on to the book called Soul for Happy by Mo Gaudat. And Mo lost his son during a routine operation. So his son sadly died at the age of 21. And Mo was the former chief business officer at Google X and is an engineer and incredibly, wildly successful. And he invites us to consider that happiness starts with a conscious choice and asks us the question, are you ready to make that choice? And explains that even in the face of the unthinkable, happiness is still possible. So this is written from somebody that has experienced tremendous loss, but has created an equation and studied it at length and seen incredible results. So I am loving the book Soul for Happy. So finding inspirational things to read, inspirational and practical things to read from somebody that's not, like they've had a lot of life experience, I think has been really, really helpful for me. And I love the book, but it is challenging. It is challenging. One of the things that I keep reminding myself is like, Tara, I choose my thoughts. I'm not my thoughts. I choose my thoughts. And some days that's really hard to believe, like it really is. But one of the exercises very early on in the book, he just invites you to write a list of all of the things that make you happy. And it might be like having a coffee, going for a walk, like taking the dog for a walk, or like being with your kids, or like watching films. I like going to the cinema. I love like the first sip of coffee. I think, did I get it right? Sip. Oh, yes. I love the first sip of a coffee. going out for dinner. We like going around London. I like exercise, lots of things that make me happy. So on the days that are challenging, I look at my happiness list and think, okay, just do one of those things. You know that's going to lift your spirits. So yeah, the advice from Mo Gowda at the moment, I am absolutely loving. Another book which has been really helpful. Now, I found this book in 2020. It's called How to Have a Good Day: The Essential Toolkit for a Productive Day at Work and Beyond. Again, this is like a really not productive. It's a really simple, practical, non-preachy book from somebody that studies productivity and then works with execs. And this is the sort of book I read it once, like cover to cover, and now it's like if I've got a presentation and we're having a particularly challenging day, I can look in the index and then just read that section. It's all basic stuff, but sometimes when you're not in the right headspace, everything can just feel harder. So I delivered a facilitation in person in Bath, and I was really nervous about it. And yeah, this book really helped me prepared, and I think I managed myself really well because of the advice from Caroline Webb. Absolutely love the book, and I love it so much that I've lost it a couple of times and I've rebought it. So I think I've bought this physical book like 3 or 4 times. Like it comes everywhere with me. It's always in my bag, and I've got the audio book. I love it. The other resource, which may or not help, there is an entrepreneur called Olivia Jenkins, and she speaks about this quite widely. She's got a jewelry brand called D. Louise, and I'm a client. I've bought lots of things. Got a couple of necklaces. I've got one at home which I'm not wearing. I've got a couple of rings, and I really, really love the brand. And her mum sadly passed away from, I think, cancer. And one of her brothers, she lost her brother to suicide. So this is a person who has experienced a lot of loss and experiencing a lot of grief in her life, but she's still ambitious. She's got she seems, from the stuff she puts out online, just such a positive energy. I had the opportunity to briefly meet her at a conference, and she put out a video. It's called How to Crush Your Goals from 2026, which, because of who she is and what she's gone through, it's not like preachy energy. And she's got this notion framework that she's filled out over the past few years, which I also filled out, and that was really happy. And that just invited me to look back at 2025, the lessons that I learn, what's made me happy, what things I want to change, what my values are. I created a vision board. I thought about my fears, like what are my biggest fears? What would I do if I didn't give a crap about what anybody thought? All these sorts of things. It took me a while to fill it in, but it was really helpful, really, really helpful. And whilst the title of that video, I think, is very like SEO optimized, I'm not, when I filled it in, I'm not trying to crush 2026. I'm really not. I just want to be happy and be there for my family and work with amazing clients. But it's not with the energy like I want to crush the year at all. I just want to be happy, I just want to, find a bit more happiness versus like I'm not in the era of trying like world domination whatsoever. And that's okay. And you might do that exercise and think, oh, do you know what? I don't want to do my job anymore. I really thought about my job, but I really do like it. I really, really do like it. Not like it. I love it. And I would be really sad if I didn't do my job. I'd be all right in the grand scheme of things, but if I had to do something different, I obviously would. But I like what I do, and I like the people that I get to work with. But yeah, it really made me reflect on my work, my skills, more importantly, the sort of people who I want to be around. That's really, really important to me. So I'll leave the video. It's a YouTube video and the link. Yeah, it was really, really good. It's like a 12-minute video. She left a Notion template of her like goal setting framework, but really, really helpful. This is not to preach. It's not to say you should do any of this stuff. This is just the stuff that's helping me approach 2026 with the permission. I do not want to crush my goals, and that is okay. I just want to I'm at the stage where I'm just taking small steps forwards and want to be very intentional with my words and my energy and my thoughts. So yeah, I just want to make it really clear. I'm not aiming to add to your to-do list in any way, shape or form. And then just to close with, multiple things can be true. So you can be going through a really challenging time and find solace in your work. You can be going through a challenging time and think, I don't want to do this for my job anymore. And that's absolutely fine. It's your life. And you know the true importance of life when you are hit in the face unexpectedly with an unimaginable event. You could not have predicted it in any way, shape or form, and yet you find yourself in it. So you know that your life can change in a split second. So you know the importance of doing things that are going to make you happy. It doesn't matter about what anybody else thinks. And it really, really doesn't. So we can all let go of, what if this person thinks this, or this person thinks I'm crazy to give that up. It's like, well, it's not their life. They don't have your experiences. So you do what you need to do. And the beauty of life in its unpredictableness is that you could just change your mind. You can just change your mind and follow what you want to do. Even if it's hard, you can still change your mind. And you get to decide how you show up. And I've really thought about this. You show up how you want to show up. Again, it's your life. 2026 may not be the year may not be the time for big decisions. And that's okay. Your job, my job, our job might just be to keep the ship steady and move through the year at a steady pace versus move through it like, I'm gonna go for it. And that's okay. That's okay. And I think reflecting on what you already have in a positive way can be really, really helpful. There may be a glimmer of like, do you know what, that is something good, or that person is good in my life, or me doing this is a good thing. Another thing I wanted to share is that asking for help. So we always say this, and I think it's always good to accept people's offer for help. If you're really challenged and people reach out to you and say, if there's anything I can do to help, I don't know what it is, you let me know. And if you're really in it at the time, you'll be thinking, let me not keep projecting my thoughts and feelings onto you. People would reach out to me and say, Tara, if there's anything I can do to help, just let me know. And I got to a point where I don't know what I need. I wish people would start saying that. And then a few angels came out and said, were very specific with the help that they could offer. And it was great. And I just stored their message. And then when I was ready, I went back to them and said, is that offer still there? So if you are listening to this and you want to help somebody, and you really think about what's the skill set that you have, what's the experience that you have, what's the time that you've got, what's the capacity that you've got. So you can actually help that person. That person can go, oh yeah, that'd be great. Or no, but at least they know what they're kind of turning down. But yeah, the psychotherapist, that's how I started working with the psychotherapist. I mentioned a guy called Adam, him checking in with me has been amazing. Amazing. So if you want to accept help, you don't be too proud. People want to help you. People wouldn't say it if they didn't want to, because why would they? Why would they do that? And yeah, over time, if you're not quite sure, just I'd say keep the messages where people offer to help, and over time you might start to think, oh, okay, maybe that person can help with that. And if they say no, in my instance, hopefully the worst has already happened to me. So somebody saying, no, Tara, I don't want to do X, is not a problem. The world's not going to cave in. And I'm going to leave it here. And know that when I say I am sending you lots of love, and I hope that your 2026, I hope you can finish 2026 thinking, I got through it. We got through it. Yeah, that is my hope for you. And also, the hope for myself. If you are a healthcare professional and you love business and love learning and professional development, please stick around. I will say to people, you don't have to listen to every single podcast, but look at the titles and see what takes your fancy. And yeah, I would love to see you on the podcast again. But if not, I hope that you got what you needed from this episode. Take care.